Brought to you by the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Good morning and welcome to the Handicap. I look space age here, but we're getting a late start because we were having some audio difficulties, and so we have modified a little bit. And I have the headset on today. We'll work with that for the next couple of hours here. But Seth Merrow in the studio, joined live from Florida by a colleague Brian Nadeau. Brian, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Seth. I got I got the feed on my computer too, so I'm kind of eager. Obviously we're like 10 seconds behind the feed. I'm eagerly awaiting, like you're in a spaceship or something. I got to see this headset you're going to be pulling out here. So there it is. Wow. All right. You are you like? It's like you're Vern Lundquist on the 16th hole at Augusta National.
Yes. We'll be doing Handicappers report now. Yeah, exactly. It is a different look for this week, but as I say, we will make it work. Brian's going to take a little bit of a look at Belmont Park for this afternoon. I'm going to take a look at Churchill Downs, and Churchill wrapping up their meet, mandatory pays and whatnot today at Churchill, and a really great stakes card as well, but some nice stakes at Belmont as well. And I don't know if you were watching yesterday, Brian, but they had a stake at Churchill as well, and it played into our bankroll. We had a nice bankroll team and made some nice money, and Bango played into it in the stake yesterday. I had Greg Foley on. You helped me contact him a few weeks ago, and I had Greg on the day Bango ran in the Aristides. And I had handicapped before I talked to Greg, and I had Bango down in my mix. But in the afternoon, when I came on, I said, the trainer is confident enough, put Bango in the mix. And he won the Aristides. And then yesterday, again, I had him down a little bit in the mix, but I said I had to put him in our pick 4 for the bankroll team, because he won so nicely and Greg was so confident in him. I wasn't sure the 7 furlongs was going to play to him yesterday, but oof, he just held on by a half a nostril over Mucho and another good performance.
Those are salt to the earth guys that I got to know really well this winter down in New Orleans. And boy, Greg and Travis and Alex too. Alex works for Steve Asmussen. But those guys are really good guys, easy to root for, and they are a hell of a horseman too, Seth, and they're doing just a bang-up job this year. And, they like that horse quite a bit, and it's cool to see them. They had him in a couple tricky spots, and they couldn't get a race to go, and they ran him on that the fake stuff there at Turfway, and that didn't work out. But, they've got him going the right way, and he's pretty good when he is going the right way. And those guys just do a good job. And like you said, you had Greg on, and it's just it's a family business and team. And boy, I couldn't say enough good things about those guys. And they were so, Joe's, you're going to have him on Racing Across America, Joe Kay, one of my best friends. And Joe's got a lot of horses with those guys, so I was kind of privy to the inside the barn kind of thing, and just to see their operation really up close and personal. And they do such a good job. And they're not buying $400,000 horses either. They're very realistic with what they can get. And if you ever see in the program that tag team racing, that's actually their own. They own that. That races under Travis's name, Travis Foley's Tag Team Racing. But that's the family name. So they go partners with a lot of horses, too. Obesos is one of them that our guys at West Point, bought into and stuff. So they're easy to root for, and I couldn't say enough good things about them.
Yeah, as I say, you got to know him down at the fairgrounds, so you got me in contact with him a couple of weeks ago, and it was a nice interview. It was a fun interview we had with him. And I'm guessing even after the second place finish, they're probably still heading up to Saratoga, Wisconsin, I would think, because that was a decent second place finish the other day behind Bell's the one. But if he heads up to Saratoga, I'm looking forward to the potential and maybe have him sit in with us on the backstretch. And you mentioned he training some horses for Joe Kay and Brilliant Racing. I'm going to talk about that with Joe because they had one win on Thursday, Busy Echo.
And I hope you do, because I don't have the numbers, but there's something like 28% since Joe put this partnership together. And yes, they dropped Izzy Echo in, and she ran off the screen the other day. Nobody claimed her. That was cool. Yes, it's Ginger. Ginger has been a huge success story for them. They had a horse claimed at Gulfstream. I think they're down. They're at 4 or 5 horses now, and yeah, Joe and that group have done a pretty good job. They've got that Eskin for it. They call him Kenny, who has earned some checks throughout his career. Yeah, they've done a pretty good job. I know a lot of my friends got in with it, and yeah, Joe's had a lot of success. So I know Joe. You have to joke with him. I know Joe won't complain at about 6:30 tonight when he gets a little month or two off for like the only time of the year, because they are pedal to the metal there at Churchill Downs, obviously.
Yeah, again, we are going to have them on Racing Across America a little bit later, and we're going to have a little meet recap and a preview some of the stakes that are coming up today and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. Also, Ellis Starr will join us. We'll be looking at some stakes action with Ellis as well, Racing Across America. But let's jump in. Again, we've got a little bit of a late start, but we'll jump in now with handicapper support. Look at Belmont with Brian and the opener today, downstate. They're on the grass for state bred maiden 40s, going 1 mile and a 16th. Your thoughts on the opener?
Yeah, and I think the weather's fine, so that's a good thing too. So we're not going to get into MTOs. And well done on the bankroll. I was watching yesterday, and then I left shortly after the 9th at Belmont. So that's well done on your part. Were you sitting on the edge of your seat with that bet the way we were? The 9th, I think, was that exacta where the horse that came up and got second to complete the exacta for us at the 16th ball, 100 yards away, I thought, there is no chance. And all of a sudden, the horse, and Mike Callahan was sitting in the studio with me, and we're rooting the horse home, and just got up by there was a bunch of them yesterday. Thanks for, appreciating the bankroll, but things really worked out nicely yesterday. Bango by a nostril, and that 9th race at Belmont was a photo that turned our way too, and there was another couple that played out. But it was fun afternoon. Everybody walked away with just under $50, everybody on the bankroll team. So it was fun. That's a good job, because that's when you're not hitting early, the weight starts adding up. So I know, we both know that we're always very happy to give some money back. So here we go. Let's start it out in the opener, 1 o'clock, as you said, early pick 5 time. 3-6 over the 2, and these are the ones you pick. So I'll update them online. Hopefully there won't be too much to update, because like I said, I think the weather's fine. I went with Perpetual Change. Here's the class dropper for Kelly Breen. First time Lasix, came back off a pretty long layoff last time, didn't run at all. Broke from the parking lot that day. Ocala Dream came back, won the stakes, I believe, last week. And I don't know. I'm kind of sick of Ghostmon, I guess, too. So I went with Perpetual Change. He's going to obviously have to improve a ton off the last, but you can't, this drop is huge. The Lasix goes on. So we'll put this one on top. Ghostmon, obviously, odds on the morning line, 4 to 5 with IRAD. Rudy's kind of had a struggle at Belmont, though. He's not a turf barn, really. And this one's burned a lot of money of late. It just doesn't seem to get there. So I put Ghostmon underneath. And then 2, Hurricane Andrew, logical underneath as well. But clearly Ghostmon, the horse to beat. And other than Perpetual Change, I thought you're really reaching if you're trying to beat Ghostmon. I'll go 3-6-2 in the opener, Seth.
Race number 2 on Saturday afternoon. Maiden Specials going a quick 5.5.
Good race here. I think this is a potential key race. It's the best 2-year-old race I've seen so far. We'll have to see how it plays out, obviously. 7-4 over 6-1. And I basically went with the post position here. Under the gun for Steve Asmussen. These gun runners have been pretty precocious. I know he's got at least 3 wins, a couple seconds. Rosario is here. Look at all the works as well. Ron Winchell, homebred. So I put Under the Gun on top. I don't know if David Aragona knows something here or what. 8-5 on Labard, a Safi firster. They paid $160 for this son of More Than Ready. The works certainly whisper ready, no pun intended. But I was shocked that this one's 8-5, excuse me, on the line with a Pletcher firster, firster for Asmussen, and Belmont's got one down inside. So I put Labard in second. We'll have to see how the tote action plays out. Up to the mark for there's the Pletcher runner, a $450,000 not this time colt. IRAD here, plenty of works here as well at Belmont, at Palm Beach Downs. Obviously, we know how good Todd is with firsters. And let's give a shout-out to High Oak as well. Lee Einsteiger texted me, says this horse could run a little bit. So down inside, I don't like that, but they paid $70 for a son of Gormley. Now, that's a big number. You look at these works, you know, I think we all kind of think when we, you know, Bill Mott's not a first-out guy, and I think, you know, when all is said and done, he isn't really, but he's 14%. I mean, that's pretty darn solid. There's plenty of works here. I know they like this horse, so I thought the rail was problematic. I thought this was a good field, too, but High Oak looks to be a runner. So we go 7-4, 6-1 in a 2-year-old race, Seth, where I'm going to follow some of these names.
I will note, Mott scored for me on the one sheet a couple of weeks ago with the firster at $53. So he can get it done, and sometimes when he does, there's some value because I think people don't think of him as a first-out guy. Belmont's third race, starter allowance going 7 furlongs.
5 over the 1-6. She's a little edgy for Rob Atras. Second off the claim, was a very good second at the level last time, well ahead of She's Answered. Looks really tough to beat at what should be a very short price. She Answered was a distant third to She's a Little Edgy last time. I figure she'll complete another chalky exact. Miss Liana stepping up in class quite a bit for Noda off the claim, but this barn's just doing wonders, working wonders. So I think you have to respect her, but this is a pretty solid class ride. 5 over the 1-6 in the third.
Let's move on to race number 4. It is a plain vanilla $32,000 claimer, 6 furlongs the trip.
You know, Seth, I know it's obviously 3-2, 2-3 for a lot of people. I tried to split them up. I went 4-3 over the 2 because there is a lot of speed in here. And I wonder if Vici and Coppertown get caught up in it just a little bit. And that sets up the Queen Jewels for Canamacy off the claim. 21%. Now, the barns really struggled to get a W at Belmont, okay? But 21% off the claim from a 52-horse sample. So it's a sizable sample. Lascano's here. This is the horse that can close into these, what I expect to be very hot splits. And this horse has prior back form to win this. So I put him on top, hoping for a little bit of a meltdown in here. I went Coppertown over Vici in second and third based on the post. I think the class drop, second off the layoff, all add up for Coppertown. And then Vici down in third, another Rob Atras runner that's got a big chance. 2 big runs off the claim, 2 wins off the claim. We know how good Rob is. So 4-3 over the 2 in race 4.
All right, race number 5 is another plain vanilla claimer. This time the tag $62,500. The trip 7 furlongs on the grass.
This kicks off the pick 6 as well. I went through this sequence with our buddy, my good longtime friend Pete Fornatal on his In the Money podcast. So there's a pretty good sequence. I think it's a sequence you can have some fun with. As well. Now I put Magisterium on top, but I don't know. I don't think she's a single like many people might. So it's 7-10 over the 6. Certainly she's the horse to beat. But the class drops second off the layoff. Now she's in for a tag. I don't know if she susses out on the lead like she did last time when she walked on the lead. So I don't know. I've got her on top. I'm a little leery of her. But I do think she is clearly the most likely winner in the horse to beat. The horse that intrigues me, Seth, is Contained. Now, she broke her maiden and off the turf at Del Park last time, okay, with a painfully slow buyer. But her lone turf route at Monmouth, 2 back, it was in October. So she runs a 62 buyer. That was in October as a 2-year-old filly. Well, now this is late June as a 3-year-old filly. And she's going to run on turf with Lasix for the first time. So I'm expecting a lot better from her. And if that's the case, she's got a chance in here, which should be a nice price, too, for a Jorge Duarte barn, who Seth, this is a barn that usually gets going at this time of year in New York. So don't sleep on Contained at a price, and then Gambling Cat is more likely an upsetter maybe for Maker and Rapoli and Irad. Certainly ran well last time. Got the W via disqualification, a little bump in class, 2 for 2 over the Widener as well. 7-10 over the 6, as I mentioned, kicking off the pick 6.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more from Belmont a little bit later on Churchill Downs. Stay tuned. All right.
It's a photo finish. It's too close to home.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Welcome to Albany County, an incredible destination to live, work, and play, with easy connections to more than a dozen cities from our vibrant modern airport. It's a short trip downtown to a hive of culture and amusement, from world-class shows at the newly renovated Times Union Center to reliving the past at the New York State Museum. From outdoor recreation to shopping to nightlife, Albany County has something for everyone. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth Merrow in the studio. Joining us via phone, Brian Nadeau. He is taking a look at Belmont, and we continue with their 6th race, $30,000 conditional claimers, going 6.5.
This is good luck, Seth. This is a toughie. I took all my slots here on the one sheet. Admittedly, no strong opinion whatsoever. 6-9 over the 4-3-2. Riding on a winner, I mentioned Nadeau earlier, so he claims this one from 20 out of a win from Morley. Bumps him up to a starter 50. Didn't work out. Now drops back down, but this one's in for 30, so still over the claim price. Adds Lasix as well. So I think there's reason that this one can improve in a big way. I put her on top. Should be a decent price. I don't know if you get that 8-1, but she'll be offer value in here. Baba, another Cantamesi off the claim. Okay, this one was a distant second last time to a good-looking winner at the level. Now goes off the claim, as I mentioned earlier, 21% barn. I like this outside attack post. A lot of speed in this race, Seth. Number 4, Maya Way, I will call her, for Fletcher. Hasn't been out since February of 2020. Now, Todd's 29% off this elongated layoff. Boy, that's a stat for you. But still, she's in for 30 off the long layoff after being stakes place. That's a little worrisome. Quasar off the claim with Irad. East Wing back sprinting on the dirt. That's a positive for Roy Lerman. Rosie's Peach is in the mix off that dirt race 2 back. I mean, Seth, this is a tough race. If you're playing this pick 6 or late pick 5, I would go as deep as your budget will allow, because it's the type of race too, Seth, where if a 7-1 fourth choice wins, that horse might pay like 15-1 in the horizontals, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. 7th race this afternoon, optional claimer, non-winners to 2 other than 1.25 miles on the turf.
4-3 over the 9. I'm just not taking the bait with Rock Emperor. I'll talk about him in a second. Mr. Alec, though, I don't know if he shakes out as a loose leader, but he's going to be right on or just off what looks to be a pretty tepid pace. He was a good third at the level last time off the long layoff. He's going to have to do better today, but he should do better today. He's got that race behind him now. Got the best finisher in racing in Joel Rosario. I think he moves forward in a big way. And the other reason I put him on top, well, there's many. I mean, he's got a lot more tactical speed than Rock Emperor. But let's talk about Rock Emperor. 6-5 on the morning line. He's probably the single for most people. I mean, win a race, would you? You know, I mean, win something. He's yet to win. He's yet to win in the U.S. Okay, Chad added blinkers last time in the Manhattan. Didn't work. He's got no speed at all either. And, yeah, the class drop is seismic. You look at the grade 1s and the grade 2s and all that. That's fine, okay? But he never wins. And now it looks like he's going the wrong way. I mean, he's nosed out in the Whittingham. He's necked out in the Manhattan last year. And now his form's disappearing a little bit. Chad put the blinkers on. I don't know, I don't want to use the word desperation, but just trying to get something out of this horse. It didn't work. Yes, we're not meeting domestic spending today, the best turf horse in the country. I understand that. But I've got to see him win a race before I back him or single him at a short price. So, like I said, I'm not taking the bait. Dot Matrix, second off the layoff for Cox, should improve. But he's another one, Seth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 losses in a row. Yes, against better, but he didn't do any running on the drop last time either. So, and now he's in for 80. So tread very, very lightly with these kinds. I'm going to call it 4-3-9, playing for a little bit of an upset.
8th race this afternoon, Stakes Company. It's the Mother Goose Grade 2 event, $250,000 up for grabs. They will travel the 1-turn, 1.16 miles.
Yeah, just straight 2-3 to the hoop. I mean, this is a single to me. Always Karina. It looks lone speed in here. Looks like a potential star for Chad. Reminds me a little bit of Guarana, who I think won on debut at Keeneland and then ran off the screen in the Acorn. Well, Always Karina does have a race against winners under her belt. It was awesome. She's going to be well ahead of Clairiere. And this is just the 1 turn, too. So I just think that Always Karina probably gets loose under Flavien Prat and looks too fast and too good for this field. Clairiere, I really worry that this 1 turn, 8.5, is going to be way too sharp for her. She's got no speed. She's never run 1 turn in her life. And Irad's going to have to really thread the needle in here. Does he run the risk of letting Always Karina get too far away and he'll never see her again? Or does he try to use Clairiere a little bit and potentially take her out of her comfort level and use his own horse up early for the stretch? So I don't know. I'm just against her. She got a dream setup in the Rachel Alexandra where she was way behind and she just sucked up the rail. The seas parted and she came through. And listen, I'm a huge Travel Column fan, but she hasn't really done any favors to the Fairgrounds form of late. She was dreadful in the Oaks. She was dreadful in the Acorn. So I don't know. I'm starting to wonder about these Fairgrounds fillies, their form that we thought was so good. I certainly did. Maybe I was just totally wrong. I don't know, but I've got to see more from Clairiere. But she ran okay in the Oaks, don't get me wrong. But she's at a big disadvantage to me today. If I had to put someone in third, it would be Make Mischief, who should get a piece for Cassie. But simply 2-3.
Right, and race number 9. More stakes action, the Wild Applause, $100,000. 3-year-old fillies going a mile on the grass.
Now, this is the play of the day. It's 2 over the 3-7. I'm worried she's going to be about 4 to 5. She will be nowhere remotely close to this morning line of 5 to 2. David Aragona, one of the best in the business at making a morning line. I would think Manon might be 6, 7 to 5 in here, potentially evens. You watch that replay, Seth, of her U.S. debut. It was stunning. I mean, she leveled off, got her head in the lane, and just blew the doors off the field. Now, who did she beat? I don't know, probably not much. But you watch that race, and she has the look of a potential star for Chad. And the other thing I like, too, is, yes, she stretches out from 6 to 8 furlongs, but this is that funky little dog leg mile or turn and a quarter at Belmont. It's not 2 turns, so I don't really have much worry that she can't get this trip. She's run 7 furlongs in Europe before. Boy, what a U.S. debut that was. Lasix does come off. You want to nitpick a little bit, but Manon, to me, looks like another turf star for Chad Brown. Number 3, Lovestruck, Belmont Godolphin, a homebred here. Hasn't been out since winning the Tepin in November. 2 for 2. daughter of Tappet. You would think she's a bigger, tougher, stronger 3-year-old filly now. If she's grown up and she's ready to roll, she'll be a big, big threat. I worry about the recency edge, though, and I'm sure Bill's got bigger fish to fry with Love Struck. And then Bye. Listen, she's a nice filly in her own right. 2 for 2 on turf for Clement. Won the Grade 3 Soaring Softly last time. She did it from the parking lot, too. So, I mean, she is a very, very nice filly in her own right. But I think Manown is just in a different league, and I expect her to show it today. 2 over the 3-7, the play of the day.
We'll wrap it up at Belmont about 5:45 tonight. Maiden specials, 6 furlongs on the grass.
111 over the 9. Chad's got 2 that are coming back. Milestone Pavement's the 1. So Enchanting is the 9. Both of them have been off since October. Actually, I didn't even pick up on this. They've been off since the same day. They ran in split races on that October 25th card at Belmont. Milestone Payment was 5th in her only start. Comes back with Lasix. I think she's loose speed in here, Seth. If not loose, she's on the lead under IRAT. She's been working well at Monmouth. Put her on top. I went with Gale Horse Wind in second for Linda Rice. The form's improving. I just worry that she doesn't have a lot of speed, and that's problematic over a hard, firm turf course at Belmont. And then So Enchanting, the other Chad comebacker, she also adds Lasix. Now, she was second in both starts. Very slow second with last seen. Again, hasn't been seen since. That was at odds on. I do like this outside post. Trot is here, but I'll go with the stablemate. 111 over the 9 to wrap it up, Seth, at Belmont. And they have a really good card, but I know you're excited to talk some Churchill. What a monster card to wrap it up there. Maxfield front and center in the Foster. A lot of fun going on in Louisville.
Yeah, no question about it, and there will be mandatory pays there as well, so keep that in mind. Brian, I'm going to cut you loose, let you go, so I can do the last segment headphoneless. So appreciate the thoughts, though, and the conversation. Folks can get your selections as well at capitalotb.com, as well as every other Belmont racing day. So, again, appreciate the thoughts. Good luck. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good, Seth. You too. Thanks.
All right, Brian Nadeau with Belmont for Saturday. Again, we'll take a break. I'm going to take the headphones off and delve into Belmont, so stay tuned.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
The Clubhouse Racebook is the Capital Region's new home for racing and sports. 25,000 square feet of Vegas-style action with live wagering on the best horse racing from around the world. 260 flat-screen televisions and state-of-the-art wagering terminals. So don't miss out. The fun is only minutes away at 711 Central Avenue, Albany, just off Exit 5 of I-90. And don't forget, if you can't make it to the Clubhouse, you can always wager online 24/7 at capitalotb.com.
Where's the best place to find your favorite teams, your favorite food, daily drink specials, and wagering on live horse racing? Legends Field Sports Bar, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. Get your game on day or night with 75 flat-screen TVs, tournament-style pool tables, a private banquet room, and live horse racing. So if someone asks you, where's the best sports bar in the Capital Region? Tell them Legends Field Sports Bar, inside the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Jumping into Churchill on Stephen Foster Day. The opener today, maiden specials, boy, they're going for $100,000. The trip, 6.5 furlongs. I went 3, 9, 8, and 10. I put Flint Ridge on top. If you listen enough, you know I like Into Mischief quite a bit as a sire of first out runners. This one had a sibling you may remember called Bavaro. That one won the first 2 of the career, including a New York Sires stakes race. Goes out first time for Joe Sharp. 2 really nice workouts in tow coming into this. Just makes sense to me. I'll hope that that morning line holds up. Second spot, Recorino or Racerino, the number 9 horse. Nice race last time number-wise off the layoff that just may indicate this horse has come back as an improved 3-year-old. Showed some speed, faded in a kind of way that doesn't boost your confidence. But the final number was enough to think, as I say, maybe this horse is a little bit improved, might match up nicely with this group. Atoka goes out for Wayne Lucas, has had 11 tries, hasn't gotten it done. But I just thought over the series of the last few races, looks to be maybe moving in the right direction to put that one in the hunt. Robo Man, I thought, was a player as well for Wayne Catalano. I could make a case for the 10 also. But the 3 is intriguing to me. Again, at the morning line price, we'll see if it holds up. But I have the opener Churchill, 3, 9, 8, and 10. Churchill, race number 2, more maiden specials. This time we're talking 2-year-olds, also going for $100,000. 3/4 of a mile is the distance. In race 2, I have it 9, 10, 11, and 5. Rocket 1 on top goes out first for Belmont. We were talking a little bit ago about firsters for Mott. He had the nice one for me, as I say, a couple weeks ago on the 1 sheet. And I think this could be a nice firster, too. The Rocket 1 has a sibling called She Rocks to Look that was 9th in debut but won the 2nd start. And if horses can win in their first, second, third starts, I always think that's precocious. Another Into Mischief firster as well. So I'll tilt towards Rocket 1. Dowagiac Chief? I may not even be close to that. But it's a Tommy Amos firster by Cairo Prince. Love the Cairo Prince runners early as well. And Tommy Amos is just having a really good meet. There was a full sibling called Cairo Diamond. Took a few starts to win, but was 2nd in the career debut at 9-1. So I think flashed a little win earlier, early talent. Did the sibling. So I think this one could be interesting as well. Number 10, 9 over the 10. And then in the 3rd spot went to number 11, Hilarious Affair by Practical Joke. I'm finding the Practical Joke runners maybe a little bit interesting. Still trying to figure them out, but goes out for Mark Cassie. There's some workouts underneath that are kind of interesting and maybe pointing to this one being a runner early on, so Hilarious Affair also in the mix for me. Outside for me in the, mostly outside, there is a 12 horse also, but in the 2nd at Churchill, 9, 10, 11, and 5. Race number 3 at Churchill, $50,000 claimers going 6. I have an 11, 12, 7, and 8. We will put Rocking the Boat on top. Goes out first off the claim for Robertino Diodoro. That's always a potent angle. And Diodoro's having a pretty good Churchill meet as well. Obviously down at Oak Lawn, he did very well this winter, but moved some of the stock up to Churchill and been going well there also. So first off the claim, claim was on June 5th, and we're not showing any workouts since then, so maybe that's a concern. But again, I think the horse was in good form coming into the race, and if we hold that, we'll be okay. So we'll put Rocking the Boat on top. Mount Travers in the 2nd spot goes out for Bill Mott. First in the Bill Mott barn, had been racing for Linda Rice, and had been racing this year mostly, completely down at Parks, but had been competitive, and I think kind of interesting that Bill Mott said, let's head down to Churchill with this one and give a shot. John Velasquez in town to ride some of the stakes action, obviously, so he gets the mount here. So Mount Travers is interesting and nifty. The number 7 in the 3rd spot. Comes off of a win last time. Won for a $40,000 tag, was claimed out of that, moves into a barn that's okay off the claim, moves out of the Chris Hartman barn, which is kind of a higher percentage barn. So on the change, I'm not sure whether that's a positive or maybe a lateral move, but I think Nifty is in good enough form off of that win last time to consider him with this bunch. So in the 3rd at Churchill, 11, 12, 7, and 8. Race number 4 at Churchill. Optional claimers, non-winners of 2 other than, going 9 furlongs, and in the 4th I have it 7, 2, 4, and 1. I could make a case for the 9 as well. Sometimes I get to the bottom of the mix and they start to match up pretty closely, and so I at least like to toss in the thought, if somebody out there is thinking 9, why didn't he put the 9 in? I could have put the 9 in, but it just missed my mix. I have the 7 on top, however. Moliere, The win two back was very nice. Followed that up on a move from Fairgrounds to Churchill with a disappointing effort. So then you're kind of left thinking and looking at the two races last year, excuse me, at Churchill. Is this a negative horse for a course? I'm going to give the horse another try, though. The race last time was on a sloppy track. The horse has done well on off tracks before, though, down at the Fairgrounds. So again, admittedly, I'm back and forth here. But it's Steve Asmussen at Stone Street. The win two back was good enough to pull me in that direction. And as I say, give this horse one more shot on the Churchill surface. Jose Ortiz in town to ride, and he'll pick up this mount. Trident hit in the second slot. 3 starts back, a nice win, very nice win down at Oak Lawn. Followed that up with an okay third, and then another on the move to Churchill. Kind of went backwards a little bit. This horse, however, at least has a win at Churchill, so I don't think this one is that negative horse for a course kind of a situation. But like the top pick, there's enough there, particularly 2 and 3 starts back, to think, I'm going to give this one another chance despite the race we saw on the move to Churchill last time. Third spot, Thirst for Life. Had a little bit of a layoff from February until May. Now is making the third start back, takes the blinkers off. Again, off a last race that's a little bit disappointing compared to what we saw 2 starts back, 3 starts back. So really similar to my top 2 picks. I'm kind of looking for rebounds for all 3 of these, but I think that's possible. In the fourth, 7, 2, 4, and 1. Fifth race, stakes action, and I'm looking forward to this. We're 3 weeks out from the Ogden Phipps, where Latruska kind of stamped herself as clearly the leader of this older filly and mare division, and I think she stands a pretty good chance of solidifying that this afternoon. I just found it interesting they picked this spot in the 21st century. That 3-week turnaround is, you're cutting it a little close compared to what a lot of trainers like these days. But they elect to take their shot at the $300,000 and a grade 2 off the nice Phipps grade 1 win last time with a solid triple-digit buyer. Just intrigued me. Jose Ortiz was on board last time, back on board again today. I'll put her on top. But En Voutante is going to be interesting, coming out of the win right here at Churchill in the Shawnee Stakes last time with a triple-digit buyer. Spice is nice. Probably has to step it up. But I liked her last time in the DuPont, and she got it done with a, I was going to say lifetime best buyer. It wasn't, but it was close to it. And I just think this horse has shown flashes throughout the career. And the last time kind of validated that those were legitimate, I think. But I'm wondering, given the number-wise, she probably is going to have to kick it up a little bit. And so maybe she's a cut below some of the better runners in this division. But I'm not positive with that yet. I mean, she's only had 7 starts and, again, could be moving in the right direction. So I have her in the mix as well, and I wouldn't argue anyone off of that one at a little bit of a price. We're looking at 8-1 on the morning line. And as I say, she could be moving herself into the upper echelons of the division. We'll find out more about her today. Fifth at Churchill, the Fleur-de-Lis, 6, 4, 5, and 1. Sixth race, optional claimer, non-winners of 1. I have it 1, 2, 4, and 6, ready to pounce. We'll hope this one lives up to his name. Goes out for Neil Pessin off a win-2 back to break the maiden, and then they got ambitious and only career start number 3 and tried the Matt win. Now they're getting back to the more proper non-winners of 1 other, and given that, I'll go back to the maiden breaker 2 back and hope we get to that. The number last time in the Matt win was fine and matches up with these. But again, class-wise, I just think getting back to the comfort zone perhaps. Sermon on the Mount, the number 2 in the second spot, 10-1 on the morning line. Also 1-2 back, tried Stakes Company last time, drops back into the proper non-winners of 1 other than 4, trainer Tommy Amos. We're looking at 10-1 on the morning line. But I just think this horse is in decent form off the last 2. Drops back. I said drops back into the non-winners of 1. That's the condition. This one's actually dropping back in for the tag, and the win-2 back was for a tag. This is an optional claimer with a non-winners of 1. This is actually a 3-time winner. So, gets in under the claiming condition. But as I say, for Tommy Amos and Maggie Moss, I think it's going to fit nicely with this crew stepping out of the stakes company over at Prairie Meadows last time. And Calibrate in the third spot. Steve Asmussen, Winchell. They had some ambitions for this horse last year. Broke the maiden nicely in the career debut up at Saratoga. And then they tried the Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland, the Breeders' Juvenile at Keeneland also, Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and kind of flopped in both of those. The comebackers have not been much so far, but stretches out to 2 turns, third start back. I think there's a scenario here to say, you know what, the form's been darkened a little bit. We're going to get some value, but there's the potential here for this horse maybe to bounce back to what we saw in the career debut up at Saratoga. This one's interesting to me. Again, 6-1 on the morning line. I say it's interesting. Not quite as interesting if the horse starts to float down and the betting public is thinking similar to what I am. But if this horse is that 6-1 or 5-1, maybe 9-2, or if it floated up from the morning line, Calibrate, I think, is, as they say, an interesting prospect in here. 6th race at Churchill, 1, 2, 4, and 6. 7th at Churchill is the War Chant. 3-year-olds on the grass for $150,000. 7, 5, 2, and 1. Helium on top. This is the runner that was really interesting, and I liked it a little bit of a price in the Tampa Bay Derby and got it done off of 2 synthetic races up at Woodbine to start the career. Then a layoff, comes back in the third start and tries the Tampa Bay Derby and upsets at 15-1 with a really gutsy kind of comeback in the stretch effort. Off of that, probably a little ambitious in the Kentucky Derby. Then they got a little more realistic and tried the Matt Win. Showed some speed before running third. I just thought it was interesting. The 2 synthetic races at the start of the career seemed to indicate maybe the move to turf will be productive. I'm going to put that one on top and hope that's the case. Royal Prince goes out for Brad Cox off some nice stakes performances on the turf, and it is Brad Cox. So automatically you're paying attention. But as I say, this horse, not only some nice stakes performances on the turf, is already a stakes winner on the turf. And then Starring in My Dreams. This one has not tried the turf, like the Top Pick, but at least the Top Pick has those synthetic races. But the Dallas Stewart runner has not tried the turf yet, but has been in stakes pretty steadily since the beginning of the career and has run okay. Well, the Lexington was okay. The other ones were a little bit disappointing, I suppose. But again, the first couple of starts of the career, moving over to the turf, maybe this one rebounds in with this type of company to what they had the ambitions for clearly at points in the career. So 7th at Churchill, the War Chant, 7, 5, 2, and 1. The Debutante, $150,000 for 2-year-old fillies going 6. And there are 2 of these races. There's the girls' version of the Debutante and the Bashford Manor. I think the potential that horses coming out of one of these races prove to be like Saratoga stakes 2-year-olds, or maybe move into the fall showing something. I think there's more potential on this filly side than on the male side today. I have it 1, 3, 8, and 7. Wicked Halo going out for Steve Asmussen. A firster by Gun Runner back on June 5th down at Lone Star. Won pretty nicely. I'm going to look for this one to come right back and put a stakes on her resume in here. 'Tis Plenty. A couple of starts already for Steve Asmussen. Here at Churchill, 3rd in debut, and then like a lot of Asmussen horses, improved and won the 2nd career start. So 'Tis Plenty also live for Asmussen. And then Norm Cassidy has the 2nd-time starter on the 1s and 2s, who, like the Top Pick, won the career debut, and now they ambitiously spot that. But at this time of year, that's what you do. Ambitiously spot, and pretty solid number as well. So again, this is a nice race. I think a nice field. Like these kind of races at this time of year, they all are showing potential. They've either run once or twice, but they've won at least 1 or 2 of those. And so there's plenty of potential here. And again, between this one and the boys' version, I think the chance of horses coming out and moving forward with some potential a little bit better on this female side. In the Debutante, I have it 1, 3, 8, and 7. Next up is the boys' version, the Bashford Manor, $150,000 for the 2-year-olds going 6. I have it 9, 8, 4, and 1. Another gun runner, first-time winner for Asmussen. Red Run, the number 9, won in debut right here at Churchill back on May 9th. That was on a sloppy track, so we'll have to find out what the horse can do on a dry track. But again, there was enough there to tilt in that direction. I think if you're looking at the numbers, and again, 1 or 2 starts, they've all shown some flashes, so they're pretty evenly matched, particularly if you also look at the numbers. So I'm just kind of going with Asmussen being a guy who can kind of work with these youngsters like this and get some life in the first and second starts. But there's another trainer who has the similar profile. That's Todd Pletcher. He has Double Thunder, won in debut at Monmouth, and a number that competes with these, so we'll put him in the mix. And then Glacial, Norm Cassie runner, that also looked pretty good in debut right here at Churchill with, again, a number that matches up nicely with this group. I think this is a pretty evenly matched bunch, as I say. I think talent-wise seems a little weaker maybe than the Philly division, but or the Philly side of things. But in the 9th at Churchill, the Bashford Manor, 9, 8, 4, and 1. Churchill's 10th is the Wise Dan Grade 2 event, mile and 16th on the grass. I have it 1, 3, 7, and 8. Set piece on top. I just couldn't get past the win last time. In the stakes race at Churchill with a triple-digit buyer that followed a win in a stakes race at Churchill on a series of improving numbers. I just think this horse is in good form, comes out of 2 stakes race wins already at Churchill. As I say, I just couldn't get past set piece. But some like it Hot Brown. Boy, this is a really nice New York bred. Has spent much of the career facing open stakes company and at the highest level. And I think he fits squarely in here today, coming out of the stakes win last time at Pimlico for Mike Maker and Jose Ortiz. They team up again today, so some like it. Hopper, always like to root for the New York Breds, and so rooting for this one certainly. And Ride a Comet for Mark Cassie. Maybe a little bit inconsistent on the numbers, but a best number fits with this group. And I think, you know, off the race last time, which was disappointing, I think it's possible we'll get a rebound to maybe what we saw 2 back. We'll need to do that, but I think the horse is better than what we saw last time is the point. In the Wise Dan, race number 10, 1, 3, 7, and 8. The 11th at Churchill is the highlight of the day, the Grade 2 Foster for $600,000. I have it 8, 4, 5, and 9. I just think Maxfield rebounded last time to prove that he is talented enough to be considered right at the top of this handicap division this year. He did have to rebound, however, from a little bit of a disappointment in the Santa Anita handicap, so he's not invincible. But boy, off of that last race, right here at Churchill, by the way, I just couldn't get past him. Maxfield seemed to make a lot of sense. But if you want to play around at 10 to 1 on the morning line, I thought Sprawl was interesting. Nice win in an optional claim or 2 back, then a close-up third in the Blame here at Churchill last time. So I think this horse can be in the mix in the thick of things. Silver Dust is interesting, coming out of the Ben Ali win at Keeneland last time, and has back numbers that put the horse squarely in with this group today. Again, I'm interested to see if Maxfield can string a couple together, particularly a couple with the number like he fired last time, and how that will play into the summer in the handicap division potentially. In the 11th at Churchill, the Foster, I have it 8, 4, 5, and 9. Race number 12, we wrap it up at Churchill with more stakes action. The Tepin, $150,000 for 3-year-old fillies on the grass. 5, 4, 1, and 13. Navratilova on top. Broke the maiden in the career debut, and then 3 stakes races. So they've had ambitions for this horse, and kind of has come close now in the first 2 starts of the season. Decent little third at Keeneland in April, and then a really near-miss third last time in a stake right here at Churchill. I think is set up and primed for a breakthrough, a 3-year-old win kind of a breakthrough this afternoon. I'm getting 12 to 1 on the morning line. I'll be interested to see if that holds up, because again, I think this horse is just sitting in kind of a prime spot to move forward. Town Avenger for Brian Lynch, nice winner in the career debut. Solid bullet workout coming into this. This horse could be up to the task in here today. An Invincible Gal, laid off from November until the middle of May. then dropped into a stakes race at Belmont and just missed there. It just looks like maybe this is one of those horses that with the 2-year-old to 3-year-old break has now come back as an improved performer, and we'll get a chance to show more of that this afternoon. In the 12th and final at Churchill, the Tepin. I have it 5-4, 1 and 3. All right, that brings us to the end of the Handicappers Report for this Saturday morning. Again, we had a late start with some audio issues, so we ran a little late, but that's okay. We'll take our break, and we'll come back with Racing Across America. I'll open things up, and then shortly after we kick things off, we'll be joined by Joe Christofek from Churchill Downs, and a little bit later on, Ellis Starr, racing analyst for Equibase. We'll be talking some of the Churchill Stakes action and much, much more on Racing Across America right after this break. So stay tuned. We'll see you soon.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.